This episode of Dynamite had everything. Trent's mom's van, MJF tastefully berating a campaign staffer named Natalie, Sammy Guevara holding cue cards, Proud and Powerful vandalizing Trent's mom's van, 2020 Chris Jericho cosplaying as 2008 Chris Jericho, Darby Allin cosplaying as John Moxley, Orange Cassidy wearing a clip-on tie, and a lot of tag team matches. A look back at all of this and more in this week's Quick Hits Dynamite edition. So this week's Dynamite was a very tag team heavy affair, kicking it off with a 12-man tag team match, seeing the Dark Order face FTR, the Young Bucks, the tag team champions Paige and Kenny Omega, and FTR. Really love this match here. We're really starting to see this interesting dynamic between the Elite and FTR, and just kind of how everybody is going to play into this eventual, not only this potential dream match between FTR and the Young Bucks, but we're also starting to see the dissension in the ranks between Paige and Kenny Omega. We saw at one point in this match, Dax Harwood tweaked his knee a little bit, and the first person to his aid was Hangman Page, and that perplexed Kenny a little bit. Especially as the match is still going on, and we're starting to see this, this question of where do Hangman Page's allegiances lie at this point in time right now. Obviously, he is tag team champions with Kenny Omega, and they're the longest reigning in company history. But FTR seems to have a lot more of that same mentality as Hangman Page. They love to fight, they love to drink. I mean, it's kind of a match made in heaven to see all of these guys interact, especially if you watch Being the Elite from a couple of weeks ago. Seeing Dark Order pick up the win here, the Dark Order continues to get better by the week now that we've got some clarity on what this stable is about and what they're trying to do and kind of what their ultimate goal is in AEW. So, again, I think everybody looks good in this match regardless of who won and who lost, just because everybody, seems to be keeping that momentum together, for their various feuds that we're going to see kind of coming out of this. Even within the Dark Order themselves, they're kind of wondering, is Colt Cabana with us? Is he not with us? Let me know what you guys think in the comments as far as whether Colt Cabana truly is, Team Dark Order, or whether he's just kind of along for the ride and kind of an unwitting, participant in getting people to drink the Kool-Aid. As far as Paige and Kenny are concerned, I really like the story that they're starting to tell as far as the splitting of this team. When we kind of first heard that Paige and Kenny Omega would be teaming up as far as the tag team title tournament goes, I think that everybody was a little surprised to see that this is something that was going to take place. We'd seen Paige at All Out, competing for the AEW World Championship against Chris Jericho, John Moxley having this big match with Kenny Omega, and we thought, they're going to continue to be single stars, but for them to, form a tag team and be as successful as they have is nothing short of amazing, but it is time to break them up. I mean, these are guys that are definitely meant to be single stars. They have served their purpose in building the tag team division and adding another wrinkle as far as storytelling goes. But, Kenny Omega, everybody that has, followed his career from Japan all the way here to the States, and now that he's on regular American television every single week, we're kind of wondering when they're going to let Kenny be Kenny Omega. And as great as his tag team has been with Hangman Page, it is time to see them, head in their separate directions. Hangman Page is another guy who's, at this point at only 29 years old, has a lot to offer here. And this time last year, he was in conversation as, at least in the fans' conversations, as potential inaugural AEW World Champions. And now that we've kind of had a year to enjoy and digest what AEW is all about, I think it's time to start pushing some of that younger talent, and Hangman Page is one of those guys that's certainly, on the list of people that should be world champion, in the next, couple of years after Moxley's reign, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. I'm really enjoying everything that the Inner Circle is doing right now. They had a very busy night last night. how these guys can just remain a cohesive unit and then still branch out into all these individual feuds is just, it's great television. We saw best friends Chuck T and Trent taking on Santana and Ortiz. Best friends showing up in Trent's mom's Sue's van, and it was the most awesome sight in the world. I would have liked to have seen Sue again. So Sue, if you're out there, Dynamite needs you back. Everybody wants to see you. Great tag team wrestling. You can really tell that AEW is 100% invested in Trent. He's got the size, he's got the look, and he's got this natural charisma too. And especially playing off of showing up to work in the van that your mom let you borrow, and just taking it and being so damn entertaining at the same time. While doing it, it shows the faith that they have in him, especially as he got the win here tonight. Best friends, I hope stay together and kind of have this New Day vibe to them as far as being, this cohesive unit, but can still kind of go and chase, singles or tag team victories. So we'll definitely see. Santana and Ortiz continue to, continue to show why they're one of the best tag teams in wrestling as well. Ever since they've gotten together with Chris Jericho, they've been at the top of their game and really add a lot to this tag team division. And I'm, just loving this feud, and it's only going to intensify now that Santana and Ortiz will now have Sue's wrath to deal with. So let's hope that they bring her back for some more stuff, because I think that those could be some really awesome interactions between Sue and Proud and Powerful. Since returning from suspension, Sammy Guevara just continues to be this insufferable prick. Last night he gets into this heated encounter with Matt Hardy that turns physical, and ultimately, we see Matt Hardy with a blade job that I haven't seen since Eddie Guerrero. I mean, just pooling blood, and it made for a nice little touch to this rivalry. Matt Hardy using his experience and expertise to put over younger talent in a way that helps them to see long-term success. It's extremely entertaining. I mean, Matt Hardy is probably one of the most selfless men in wrestling. And, to see this interaction with Sammy Guevara and kind of the magic that they'll have, because they do have those high flyer styles and very, very similar attributes as far as their in-ring attributes, this is going to be a great match. And I'm hoping that this will build to a true program, hopefully culminates it all out. I mean, Matt Hardy is here to give back what he can while he can. And I think that this will be a fantastic match between Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara. If you've not gotten to watch this segment, do yourselves a favor, head over to YouTube and check it out. A few days ago, it was announced that MJF will be taking on Jon Moxley for the World Championship at All Out. And I am just so excited for MJF in this opportunity that he's getting, because he's just been the best heel in wrestling, bar none. Basically, since AEW has started, he's just found a way to remain over and obnoxious all at the same time. And he's one of those heels that can still just continue to make you hate him. And we love him because we hate him. He just has this uncanny ability to piss people off in a way that it's entertaining and just grating all at the same time. So to see MJF, playing a political candidate of sorts, and berating a campaign staffer in a rather tasteful way, it was just pure gold. He really is just embracing being one of the most hated guys in wrestling right now, and it's only going to lead to more success down the line for him. A lot of people want to say that it is a little too soon to consider MJF to be somebody to be the next AEW. Some people say that it's a little crazy to put MJF in the conversation of the next world champion after Jon Moxley's reign is over. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, MJF is doing some of the best work of his career. It's a young career, absolutely. But, there's no reason why he can't be the youngest world champion in AEW history. I mean, if you got a guy like this and a bruiser like Wardlow, behind his back, I mean, that's going to be a cowardly world champion that people are going to want to chase. So, I just think that this is something we're in for a great match at All Out. I'm not ready to give my predictions on it just yet, just because I want to see how the story builds. But, if Moxley's reign were to come to an end at All Out, I can't say that I'd be upset. Let me know what you guys think as far as an MJF world title reign, and not only when it should happen, but who you guys think should be the third AEW World Champion. Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder, made his long-anticipated AEW debut this week, teaming up with his real-life good friend Cody Rhodes, taking on Alex Reynolds and John Silver in a spectacular tag team match that did the one thing that I'm sure it had in mind, and that was to get Cardona over with the audience. Seeing Cardona take this time since Black Wednesday to get himself in shape, and he's certainly looking a lot bigger and a lot more focused as far as what he's trying to do in AEW and trying to set himself apart from his WWE run. A solid tag team showing here, not necessarily anything that was too flashy, but it got the job done as far as introducing Cardona to the AEW universe. I know if you're like me, I still want to call him Zack Ryder. I'm sure that this was he's excited to finally be in front of a new audience, probably people that have stopped watching wrestling, and AEW is the reason that they've gotten back into it again. But I've got high hopes for Cardona here in AEW. He carries himself like a world champion, and I'm sure that eventually down the line we'll see Cardona and Cody go one-on-one. Who will be face and who will be heel, would remain to be seen. But I think that we're in for some spectacular stuff from Cardona. He's got no shortage of creativity, especially with everything he did to make himself popular and get over in the first place in wrestling. And one thing that I'm excited about is hopefully seeing the return of the Internet Championship, the belt that he created for the Z True Long Island story. Seeing him defend that on AEW Dark, as a bit of a proving ground of sorts, would definitely be beneficial. Dark is something that doesn't necessarily attract the most eyes, but it is clearly the place where they want to see some of their younger talent, or their more inexperienced talent, develop. And I think that having the Internet Championship to contend for would be a nice wrinkle, and would certainly fit Cardona's character and everything that he knows. Just because he's just a guy that loves pro wrestling. He's a pro wrestler that loves pro wrestling, and to have somebody like that in the fold, there's going to be no shortage of creativity that AEW will definitely benefit from by having him in the ranks. In perhaps the most anticipated segment of the night, Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho engaged in a verbal debate with a special guest moderator. And, if you're a guy like me, I don't like spoilers, and I kind of accidentally overheard this one, but Eazy-E, Eric Bischoff, making his return to TNT for the first time in over 20 years to serve as the moderator in this debate. I wasn't really sure what to expect with this. Orange Cassidy is not somebody with the most to say. Chris Jericho obviously has a lot to say, so you knew that it was going to be entertaining, and they were going to play it into that. Seeing Chris Jericho come out clean shaven and looking like he has stepped into a time machine back into 2008 when he was the best in the world at what he did. It was just fantastic. Jericho is the master of reinvention, and to kind of pull back, into the time machine and dust that off for this particular segment was nothing short of amazing. Orange Cassidy continues to just be himself, and that's the best way that this character will continue to be successful in AEW, is if you just kind of let him do things in his way. And it was perfect. Jericho had a lot to say for every single question. He had a verbose answer and just would talk your ear off. Orange Cassidy, on the other hand, gave a promo about the statistics of climate change, and then why he doesn't like Chris Jericho and that he's being underestimated by Chris Jericho. That was it, and that won him the debate. I mean, the guy had the least to say, and it spoke volumes, and that's the way that this character is going to continue to stay over. So I just sincerely hope that, Orange Cassidy gets the win here on Dynamite. It's not a pay-per-view. I would hope that Jericho will put him over here, and who knows, maybe we'll get one more blow-off encounter at All Out. But I think for the rematch here, Orange Cassidy has to get the W here. A win over Chris Jericho on Dynamite would be huge for OC, and it would cement him as a true star that is more than just this very lax, chill, laid-back gimmick. I absolutely love Dr. Britt Baker. I mean, I think that she is one of the best women's heels in wrestling right now, and she's certainly made it tough to debate who is doing the role model gimmick better in wrestling right now. Is it Bayley or is it Dr. Britt Baker? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But Britt Baker has been on fire since debuting these vignettes of just having an assistant and kind of being unable to get around herself and really just being obnoxious. It works for her. So last night we see the feud between Britt Baker and Big Swole continue, and Dr. Baker voluntold her assistant Reba to compete and take on Big Swole, and got squashed because Reba isn't a wrestler. But everybody that has paid attention to Impact knows that she can handle herself. But I love this segment. For what it's worth, trying to get what you can out of somebody that is unable to get in the ring, as long as they can still talk and entertain. I think that's an awesome use of Dr. Baker, just while she's looking to heal. And at this point, we're just counting the days until she's back and healthy at All Out. Now I do have one concern is I would have liked to have seen the Deadly Draw tournament take place on Dynamite, get a larger audience. Hopefully the YouTube streams and the viewership will be good enough that this is a tournament that'll be on TV next year. I just think that that could have been something a little bit more exciting to add to the show, especially because this was a tag team heavy night, and it will be again next week, because next week it was announced last night anyway that next week is Tag Team Appreciation Next week is Tag Team Appreciation Night, and it did strike me as a little odd that they're hyping this big event with a lot of quality tag team matches, even though that's kind of what happened not only just this week, but every single week there's fire tag team wrestling in AEW. Just a little odd to me, but I am sure that based on the match card that we're starting to see as far as next week goes, we're going to be totally entertained. So we'll definitely see what happens. Let me know what you thought about the Deadly Draw tournament in the comments. For a bigger breakdown of this, our new podcast, episode 26, is live on YouTube and available on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. AEW World Champion Jon Moxley put his title on the line against the number 5 contender Darby Allin in a very hard-hitting, brutal, and emotional affair. Moxley cut a promo earlier in the night, basically indicating he's got all the love and admiration and respect for Darby Allin in the world. However, he's the world champion. He's going to destroy you. He's going to do what he has to do to win. And for him to use this match as a cathartic way to purge himself of all of these traits and things that he sees a young Darby Allin doing now in his career that reminds him so much of what he used to do in the past. It was very gripping. You could tell during this match that he was conflicted in harming his friend, even though his title's on the line. When you can pull that kind of emotion out of a couple of people like Allin and like Moxley, it just makes for instant classic television. Interference from MJF and Wardlow be damned, Moxley gets the W. But you could tell that this was like an older brother taking on a little brother, and it's, I'm going to do enough of what I have to win this match. I don't want to end your career. Don't make me do that. And it was just captivating as hell. And I hope that we see more of these guys, in the future, as far as, Moxley and Allin, It was a pay-per-view caliber match, and if you'd given them a little bit more time, I'm sure that they would have blown the roof off the place had there been a live crowd. I hope that this is not the last we see of Darby Allin in the world title picture. He's another one of those guys, along with MJF, that we kind of have to have the conversation. Who is the next world champion after Moxley? So there's a lot to enjoy about what AEW is doing right now across Dynamite, Dark, and the Deadly Draw tournament. I can't wait to see where they go with this next, and I certainly can't wait for next week. So let me know what you guys thought of Dynamite in the comments. As always, thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Eric Squared Circle YouTube channel. Our new podcast for this week, episode 26, is up. So make sure to check that out here on our channel, or head over to Anchor, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe.